The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the show and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Kevin Carr.
Where?
I'm on It's Movie Time.
The name of the film that we're doing is Downsizing. But where are you, Kevin? You always show up.
I'm down here. Just look down here, John.
Oh my God, there you are. Kevin, what happened?
Well, it's temporary. Hopefully it'll wear off soon.
Oh, gee, my feeling was it's irreversible.
Well, we'll see. There we go.
Oh.
I feel better now.
Oh, Kevin, you're here. I'm so glad. Well, you're not Matt Damon.
No, I'm not.
And
I'm quite a difference.
And actually, you're much more robust than he is.
He's half the man that I am. I would like to say. I'd like to say that.
Playing this kind of dweeby middle-class guy.
Yeah.
It's in the film is in case we just screwed everything up here, but the film is Downsizing.
That's right.
And Matt Damon just decides that he needs to downsize, as we all should do. Certainly, I at my age am downsizing.
Yeah.
It's a kind of thing that we as humans are supposed to do.
As you get older, and if you have kids and they move on, and then
yeah.
But this is taken through to a literal aspect where people are actually shrunken down to what, 5 inches?
Yes, that's correct.
5 inches, and then they have their own little world, and that's what he decides to do. But he's basically abandoned by his wife, so he's left on his own without the money and nest egg that he normally would have had, going from middle class to this tiny little person.
But Kevin, you're supposed to increase like your holdings by 1,000 because you've reduced. I mean,
well, yeah, but then you have to give half of that away in a divorce settlement. So that's how he ends up on the skids in this movie.
Yeah. So you're able to move into your McMansion, which they couldn't afford before.
Yes, and then couldn't afford after the divorce. So, because you always buy, and we all know this, you always go well, just on the edge of what you could afford, and then you suddenly reduce that to half, and you can't afford it anymore.
Well, this is directed by Alexander Payne.
Yes.
Who knows something about human beings.
Yes.
Or
not that you would know by this movie, but yes, allegedly. So yeah, he did The Descendants and Election and Sideways. He's got a huge resume.
My favorite of those is Sideways.
Okay.
And again, you're kind of looking microscopically at humans, so to speak, and at human foibles. And what I like about Downsizing is the irony of supposedly doing something good for the environment by shrinking yourself down, which means that everything you use is shrunken down. But at the same time, hoping for, having been jealous of your neighbors, hoping for that kind of house and lifestyle that you've always wanted, which was consumer fantasy again. So you're going, it seems that Payne is telling us you're not going to avoid those crass inclinations that we have.
Well, not just avoid it, that's the reason people do it. Nobody's doing this for the environment. In this movie, nobody is doing this to save the planet. People are doing this because the resource drain is much smaller and you can get more for a buck. You know, there's a joke in there where somebody has all this jewelry and it's like $80 worth of jewelry because the diamonds are, teeny tiny.
Right. And that's Laura Dern in a bathtub, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And but this is not all just browbeating about how bad we are as consumers or as human beings. There's some lighthearted moments in this.
Well, here's the thing for me is when it comes to this, you're right. It has this emotional up and down, and tonally it's all over the place. And that's one of my problems is Payne's trying to do so much with this movie that I would almost see, not even like scene to scene, like, or section, like you've seen movies where like each act feels like it's directed by a different person. Like each scene at times feels like it's written and directed by different people. And at times, bits of dialogue, it like shifts in and out from trying to be dramatic to be funny, very awkwardly.
The relationship between Matt Damon and the woman he finds, the Vietnamese woman.
Yes.
A comment, I suppose, upon immigration, another one of the topics that he's unable to fully flesh out.
Or focus on.
Right. Although she's a delight, I think, in the film.
She's fine. I don't... I guess my problem isn't with the people in it. Like the actors, I think even like Matt Damon. I think he's at times lost in what he's supposed to be and what his character's where he's supposed to go and what he's supposed to do.
I mean, I enjoyed Christoph Waltz, as I always do, because he goes over the top, always.
Yeah.
He's playing Eurotrash, and he's good at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that are entertaining. But like you even pointed it out with like there's this Vietnamese woman who the group had smuggled themselves in a TV box because they're all tiny and it feels like at times he's trying to make these points and he kind of sort of meanders around comedically around these points, but never actually makes them, and then moves on to something else. I mean, there's the thing about the environment, and then they move on to that. There's crass consumerism. Then he kind of avoids that. There's even like it seems almost at times going for that allegory of American work that's shipped, like telemarketing that's shipped overseas to India,
sure,
that people can do it much cheaper. And that's what he's trying to make, and then he abandons that, and then he goes on to say, "Well, we're gonna, deal about immigration. We're gonna abandon that. We're gonna deal about social classes. We're gonna abandon that. And he never sticks to anything.
No, this is quite the opposite of what Rod Serling would do in The Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
he'd focus, and you'd get a half an hour of heavy duty stuff. But here we've got a real shotgun approach. Now, Kevin, you mentioned the environment. I'm very disappointed in the ending of this film, which I think is environmentally related, right? I mean,
I guess.
Well, because of what was it? Actually, I was thinking he had shifted to a concern about they're all abandoning because of what the
ultimate push is
climate change.
Yeah, we're destroying the planet.
Right. So changes to a climate change ending, which I found abrupt. Also,
it's no less abrupt than some other turns it took.
Also, a kind of ludicrous ending.
Yeah.
But overall, because I've always loved the Twilight Zone, this is pure science fiction.
But even then, and this is me getting nerdy here, okay? Even then, the science fiction doesn't work for me.
Oh,
because there's a scene in there where they're in I think they're in a church. They're like in a low rent church. The Vietnamese girls going to church. And they have there's and you can see the lights above them, and they're fluorescent lights. And I'm like, well, fluorescent lights wouldn't work at that size. And I'm like, that's my part is that they have the premise of everything's downsized, and then once you get to them being downsized, everything's normal, and there's not even there's no science element to it. You don't even see the fact that how hard it is to manufacture things. And no, you want to have a pencil, they got a pencil. That's the size for that looks exactly like a human being pencil.
I do love the little touch of the crackers.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, that's a funny gag. I think.
Yes.
I think if this were just a comedy, if this was a screwball comedy like Inner Space, yeah, sure.
Oh, Kevin Carr, I have a feeling I better give my grade first. Anyway, the film is Downsizing. The director is the acclaimed Alexander Payne. It stars Matt Damon, and I'm going to award it a B.
And this is a historic moment, John, because usually we're really close. This time we're not. I'm going on a D for this one, for Downsizing.
It's movie time, has its own confrontations, and here we are. We hope that you all don't downsize the take on this this film, because they sure are trying. But anyway, it's a film worth seeing in the holidays if you can put up with all Kevin's